Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Georgia. That's right, I did the thing. I went and purchased the entire rest of the campaign so that I get this ship a little quicker and start earning a little bit extra steel. But yeah, this is one of those matches. Like, I love the ship, don't get me wrong. But you know, this is two brothers. And this ship and this map not necessarily meshing well together. Like, it has potential, but just the Georgia and these sort of matches not going to be at its best. But with that being said, we are going to showcase a really fun game in the Georgia and some really good teammates towards the end of the match. So you'll see. Anyway, so hope you guys had a great weekend. I know it's been a little bit of having no videos up for you guys, but hey, you know, sometimes I need a break too. That's just the way it goes. And by break, I mean I literally uploaded 2 videos on the weekend, so it's not like it's been a huge break. But I know from the Legends, it's been a little bit of a break. But we're back. Now, obviously, I don't want to get myself spotted right away broadside, but you know, we also don't want to pass up an opportunity to take a shot at a Kutuzov. Unfortunately, I had HE loaded from the last match that I ran in the Georgia, where I was shot at a destroyer with HE, and so yeah, whoopsie. But yeah, we're going to get the AP loaded so that we actually have the right ammunition in, and we're going to push the flank, because that's what the Georgia is very good at. The Georgia is very, very good at pushing flanks. It's very good at it. You just have to be careful. You don't want to give the broadside of your ship to battleships because you will get punished severely. You can see, we knew his location. We kept up, even though he was smoked up. We kept up with him, and we get 3 hits here. 1 penetration, 2 overpins for about 8,000 damage on him. And he's going to shoot back at us, but honestly, I mean, he's running EOP, obviously, because you see him hit. Every one of his shells are going to do like 767 damage. So you pretty much know, and he set no fire. So 726. There you go. But yeah, so this match, everybody knows Two Brothers by now. It's one of 2 things. It's either a rush fest, where one team just absolutely steamrolls one side of the map, or it's a bide your time, take advantage of what the enemy gives you at longer range. But it's a very small map, so you've really got to pay attention to crossfires and what's going on everywhere. I do have a few things that I'm going to mention in this match that, you know, are critiquing a player, and it's not so much critiquing him as much as, you know, trying to learn from it. Because I actually warned him in the game that what he was doing was absolutely stupid, but clearly he either couldn't hear me or he just thought that he was better, you know, he was above it. But I'll point that out when we get there. Anyway, we are going to try to push this flank, all right? And the enemy are all in reverse, which is actually perfect, because that allows me to push up much, much nicer. Now, Kutuzov comes out of his smoke. He's done. So we're getting ready to press delete on this man. And, of course, just as we get a potential shot on him, the team just wrecks him. And not that I'm complaining. A Kutuzov is best when it's dead. Let's be real. Nobody wants to be against Kutuzov any other time. But Kutuzov goes down very early, which is huge for our team. That's a huge DPM loss for his team. And so we take a shot at the Shard Horse. First shot, not that great. 1 penetration. So not a great start to the match for us. Only at 15,000 damage. But notice that I'm not continuing down the outside edge, because I'm recognizing that there's a cruiser in the center of the map. And I've got to start planning my turn to go back and defend the base. You can see, this is the moment that I'm looking back and seeing what's going on, and I'm like, okay, I have to get back and defend the base. Have to. And so, I don't leave things to chance with my teammates. I just don't. I always assume that my teammates will let me down, so I try to put myself in position to do things rather than deal with it. And the Hipper kills our Kagero, because of course he would. And he actually torped him, which is hilarious, because that means the Kagero suicide torped him and failed somehow. Yeah, I don't know how it happens either. But because the enemy battleships are all in reverse and the Scharnhorst went behind the island, we're able to complete the turn while in not being spotted, which is huge. And so we are going to start steaming back towards the back of the cap. But notice I'm not going straight towards the cap. Why is that? Well, first of all, there are still battleships out here willing to shoot my broadside if I get lit up. And all it takes is a plane anywhere on this map to light me up. Alright? So we don't want to give them our broadside. Now, it's at this moment that I am warning this Massachusetts on our team. Do not go in the channel after the Hipper. He has 6 torpedoes per side, and he will kill you. But the Massachusetts is like, nah, dude, I know better than everybody. I'm going to sail my Massachusetts right into that gap, and I'm going to nuke the Hipper. Well, unfortunately, he doesn't nuke the Hipper. He takes about 1/3 of the Hipper's health, and he loses all of his own. Well, he lost 2/3 on the one side. Now, what's the Hipper going to do? He's going to reverse and switch sides and hit it with 6 more. Because that's what the Hipper does. And the Hipper reloads those torpedoes very quickly. So, you know, you don't want to be rushing a Hipper in a battleship. You want to keep your distance and nuke it. Stay outside 6 kilometers. He can't torp you if you're outside 6 kilometers unless he's running a little bit of a buff to his torpedoes, which is just weird. I don't think very many Hipper players would, but there's probably a few out there that's got 6.5 or 7 kilometer torpedoes. But it's generally 6 kilometers, so just stay outside the 6 kilometers, you're good. Or maybe it's even 5. It might even be 5, I can't remember. It's been a while since I played the Hipper. But anyway, we know the Hipper's there. Now, biggest threat to us right now losing is the Hipper getting in the base, right? So I'm going to try to put myself in a position to attack the Hipper, but also keep my distance from the Hipper. We don't want to get up close and personal with a Hipper that already showcased that it removed a battleship with much better torp protection than me. So we don't want to give him another opportunity for ridiculous amounts of damage. It's a Hipper. So we are going to keep our distance. We are also going to showcase using island cover in a battleship to protect you while you limit the people who can shoot you. I know, strange concept, right? Well, Spartan, I thought only cruisers could use island cover. No, pay attention to the map. You've got places that you can use battleships, which is why I always say that you don't need to be 20 kilometers away. There's plenty of places that you can be that can help protect you while you take on the enemy. Okay, so Hipper's got a plane up. We can't see him. Okay, I'm not using my spotter plane to spot the Hipper when I can't even attack him, even if I did spot him. It's just a bad all around. Now, the Cleveland behind me, the Suja out in front of me, are just waiting for targets. And sure enough, we knew the battleships were here. We start turning in. We take a really nasty hit right off the bat. We were over-angled, and I'm fairly confident that it was the Alabama that actually went through our side plating on the bow. But yeah, we're going to showcase to these guys that the Georgia does not give a about bow armor, okay? Unless, of course, you got 32 millimeters or more. So, Balti, 27 millimeters of bow armor. And we didn't actually hit his bow armor anyway. We went through his side plating and just obliterated him. Took all of his health, but in true Spartan fashion, leaving him with just enough to get away. And get away he does, actually, which is quite obnoxious, because this is one of the most frustrating parts about having teammates. I just took all this man's health. All they have to do is finish him. Now, I take a shot here, and of course, it's a battleship versus a cruiser, so I'm going to get overpins. The guy should have been removed right there, but he wasn't. And the Suja is shooting him. He's got him burning, or had him burning. He just put it out, one way or the other. And the Cleveland has been focused on the Alabama the whole time. Now, I get it. You're trying to get rid of the bigger guns, especially the guns that can punch you in the mouth. But here, because I noticed that both the Suja and Cleveland are focusing the Alabama, I start focusing the Nelson. Why? Because A, I overmatch his bow armor, which I do not overmatch the Alabama. And B, that Alabama's not long for this world if he's got a Cleveland and a Suja firing at him. Like, I don't care how good you are with damage cons, like, you are dead in very quick succession. Now here, I am thinking about shooting the Alabama, and that's when I'm like, okay, he's definitely getting shot by both. And here, I aim. This guy's over-angled in his Nelson. He's giving me a good shot through the bow, and Ouch. 48,000 damage, and that just goes to show you, you don't want to bow tank in a Nelson against anything, let alone 18-inch guns. Just saying. Now, here I actually make a mistake, okay? I know that I can kill both of these guys very quickly, generally speaking. I know that I have good damage con, and because I'm running the reaching out skill, I actually have a longer duration damage con, because I'm not reducing the duration of the damage con, okay? So, I actually start pushing forward with the engine boost on, and nobody's going to follow me forward. And they're not really in a position to shoot him. The Suja is shooting, obviously. We're going to shoot one gun at the Balti thinking he's a dead man. He gets away with it because, of course, he would. He only gets hit with one shell. And then we shoot at the Hipper, and we punch the Hipper in the mouth. And we start to bow tank to try to limit how much damage these guys are going to farm off of us. And the potential for them to set more than 2 fires. One on the bow, one in the superstructure. So we're trying to slow down. I've realized my mistake. I'm asking for teammates to come up so that I can get will to rebuild going. And you can see they are shooting the Hipper now. The Hipper has charged out. Why would the Hipper do that? Because he's trying to get to torp me. We managed to finish him off really quickly. The friendlies finished him. I got most of the damage. And right now I am freaking out. I'm like, come on. We are actually in will to rebuild range, but it's a little too late. We're still on fire. As long as we don't get hit by those battleships that are coming down the center, by the way. You guys know that they're on their way. As long as we don't get hit by them, we could survive this, but then we get the double fire, and then, of course, the battleship's going to hit us right after that and finish us off. Though we do manage to take out the Balti right as we go down, which is huge because that Balti could have absolutely wrecked this Cleveland sitting broadside to, you know, a Balti. Like, that's a bad, bad idea. Now, I screwed up that end, yes. I really wish one of those guys, because they have full health, man. They really have full health. Any of those guys, especially the Cleveland that was right there with me, could have moved in with me a little sooner, stayed closer to me for that will to rebuild. I have the maximum range on my will to rebuild on my American battleships. So, like, you don't have to stay that close. He could have kept himself safe, but still inside that I think it's 4 kilometers. At least 3.7. But that's just one of those things as a teammate you could try to keep an eye on. Like, if a battleship is tanking a lot of fire damage from cruisers and he's spamming something along the lines of, I need help, then he's probably got will to rebuild and he could use a hand, you know? And especially if you're full health, man, get up in there. There's nothing hiding. But that being said, these guys are going to play the end of this very, very well. The Suja is in a great position. He's off in one direction. And these guys are in a great crossfire. Now, this Kuchezov has kind of put himself in a bad position in order to get those torpedoes off. And he is actually going to land one of these torpedoes, but only one on the Richelieu. That being said, he does understand how to use armor piercing and when to use armor piercing. You can see as the Georgia's angled to him, he's using high explosive. We do check and see that the Richelieu takes a torpedo. But as this Georgia opens up, first of all, he's going to nuke the Kuchezov here. At this angle, he went right through that bow side plating and just nuked him. But Kuchezov smashes him back for 7 to 10K right there because he loaded armor piercing. Richelieu finishes him off going through the bow of the Kuchezov. But these guys have pushed out into our cap. We no longer have the cap points, or the points advantage, but because these two are in the cap, like, this is cruiser territory right here. Like, this is best case scenario for a cruiser. You've got 2 battleships against you in open water. They can't do a darn thing about it. Now, here, the Cleveland probably should have loaded AP after he set the fire, but, you know, it doesn't matter. He ends up killing the guy anyway. And then, of course, he's coming out broadside to a Richelieu, which is very brave. Very brave. But, you know, best armor, no armor, right? Richelieu aims a little too far forward and doesn't manage to delete the Cleveland. If that Richelieu hits center of mass right there on an angled Cleveland, that's GG. But good job to the cruisers at the end of this match to finish clutch in the game for us. It was a well-played game on everybody's part, except for that Massachusetts, which we mentioned. But you can see Cleveland getting himself a crack in, Suja coming in second, holding that right side against all odds. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.